Hi, I'm Mike Handwerker with Tricky Fast Studios. Today I'm going to show you about some other interactive objects. These ones are spawners and spawn camps. They're used to spawn enemies or items in your game levels. By the end of this video, you should be able to set up spawners and spawn camps and have them spawn either new NPCs or just items to pick up. So to get started, we've got this pretty much empty level here. It has some geometry, it has a player and a first-person camera setup, but that's about it. So let's create our first spawner. To do that, we can first create a state machine. Let's call that spawner. And underneath the state machine, let's add a spawner behavior. Okay, so we have some options here. We can pause it. We can even start it paused if we want. We can set the minimum and maximum spawn interval, the spawn count, and the maximum number of spawn. The spawn count is the maximum number of spawns that it will do over the entire duration of the spawner. And then the maximum spawn is the maximum number that it can spawn at a single time. So if you just wanted to have one enemy, you could set this to 1, and there would only be one enemy at a time. But it would spawn an infinite number of them every time. Every time this one was killed, it would spawn another one. Or if you only wanted to spawn 5 times ever, you could set this to 5. So, and then we have spawn immediately. So if we have this delay, we can set spawn immediately to instantly spawn one and then just wait for the delay for the next one. And then we can have a list of entries, which is going to be what gets spawned. So if we add one, so this first entry here, even though it says value, that's a current bug that we'll be fixing. It should actually say weight, and that's the weight of the spawn. So this is a weighted spawn table. And then we have a spawn type. You can either spawn all these entries here, or you can just spawn one at random anytime this thing is spawned. So let's add an entry here. This just takes a game object that we can put in here. So let's set our min interval to 10 and our max interval to 15. We'll set max spawn of 1 for now, and we'll have it spawn immediately. And how about we spawn this enemy that we created in the asset bundle video? So all this guy does is he just paths straight towards the player. So position, we can set that to owner. And spawn types all. We should be good to go. Let's actually place the spawner, make sure it's at a good spot. Looks like it is. It's right on the floor there. So we should immediately see somebody spawn right there and come towards us. They spawned. They're coming right at us. And they're going to push us. So let's... I just deleted him and another guy spawned. I can delete this guy. It's going to wait for some delay. And another guy spawned again. I can delete that. And wait for another few seconds here. And it spawned again. Okay. So, what if we change this to have a max spawn of 2? So let's give it a try. It should spawn 1 instantly. Alright, yep, there's the one that it spawned instantly. Let's kind of move away. It should spawn a second one sometime. There's the second one. Now it's not going to spawn a third one because we have it set to max spawn of 2. So if we delete one of these guys, Whoa. He respawns. If we delete both of them, they should respawn one at a time. There's one. There's the other one. All right. So, what if we only ever wanted to spawn 2 of them? So we can set our spawn count to 2. And then give that a try. So that should only spawn a total of 2, but we've set the max spawn at a time to 1, so it's going to spawn the first one. And then we can get rid of that by deleting it. Normally you wouldn't just delete them, you would attack them and kill them, of course. Or pick them up if they're items. That's going to spawn the second one. Well, let's just get rid of him quickly. And that should be it. Shouldn't spawn anything else. See, nothing there. It's done. So the next thing we can do is, let's actually just use, let's add some inventory stuff to a player here. Right. So we need to add an inventory manager. Right. And then we want to set auto expand bag and stack stackables. And we'll add a service, inventory service. We will set available items. Let's go into our inventory service. Open that prefab. Select this. We'll get this guy. And back into our inventory service, we'll add our health potion. Oops. Inventory service. Add our health potion. And then back to this guy. So this is what we're going to actually put on our spawner instead of our enemy. We'll add this health potion. So it's only going to spawn 2 of them. Max spawn 1. Spawn immediately. Let's turn that off. So now, if we look over here, there's nothing there. Give it a few seconds here, so it should spawn the health potion. Oh, it fell through the ground. Let's move our spawner up a little bit. Actually, we could, instead of moving the spawner up, we could add offset, move it up a little bit, give that a try. Wait for a second for it to spawn. There it is. It's on the ground. We can pick it up. We got a health potion under inventory. Now if we wait a second here, there goes another one. We can pick that up. Now we got 2 health potions in our inventory. And it's not going to spawn again because we have the spawn count set to 2. One thing you can do is you can add triggers under spawners. So let's do that. Let's add a proximity trigger under this spawner. Alright, so we'll do target, owner, collide target, player, radius 3. Let's make it 5. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Check every 0.2 seconds. So now, oops, it added a triggered action, so we need to get rid of that because we don't want that triggered action. So now the spawner is only going to start spawning if this trigger is true. So let's take a look here. we have it set to spawn immediately. So nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh, we walked into its radius and it spawned. So now, can we pick this up from back here? We can. I think we still have to wait for this interval to go through here. So now, if we walk in, it spawns again. The next thing we can talk about is a spawn camp. So let's get rid of this spawner for now. So let's add a spawn camp behavior. So spawn camp is a collection of spawners, effectively, and it's a way to manage all of the spawners by either pausing them all or destroying everything that they've created all in one go. So it's kind of like if you have an encounter and you want to build an encounter specifically with a bunch of different spawners in different places, this would be a great way to do it. So we've added a spawn camp behavior. And we can add spawners underneath it. And we do that by adding a spawner behavior underneath the spawn camp. And, well, let's leave this one right where it is, but let's create another one and move that over a bit. So now we have two. So let's set the max spawn to 1. Entries to 1. We'll add 1 entry, and we'll add our enemy here. Actually, let's actually grab something from somewhere else. So let's grab what should we call it? So we got that's what we want. So for our first spawner, we'll add the orc, and our second spawner, we'll add a here, who's one of the guys from the RPG demo. And let's set these both max spawn 1, spawn immediately. Alright, so we have an orc and we have a here. So if we hit play, and look over here, orc and a here. The orc isn't going to attack or anything like that because we don't have combat system set up right now. But he will just wander around and look kind of threatening, I guess. And here is just going to stand there and look silly, which is what he pretty much does. Okay, so we notice that if I was to get rid of the orc, he just respawns. If I get rid of both of them, they just respawn. And that's really that. Oh, position should be owner. Both of those, yep. They both spawn in the right place. So, next thing we want to do, let's set our spawn camp to be paused. Okay. So then let's add a little switch here. A cylinder, make it, there we go. Yep. Alright, so we'll make that into a state machine. And we'll add a switch behavior. We got to add interaction manager. So next thing we need to do is add a switch interaction. Yep. So under our switch behavior, let's just, so we can tell what's happening, we'll add 2 move actions. The first move action will be 5 destination owner. We'll add an offset of 0.2. The second one will set to be a stop action owner, offset negative 0.2, so put it back, give it a 0.25. So, and then what we can do is we can add a pause spawn camp action, and we will set that to named. We'll set that to our spawner. Let's set pause to be off because we've already started with our spawner paused, and then revert on stop so that it will pause it again when it goes back up. So let's take a look at our spawner. We can see that it's paused when it starts. So let's hit play, and as soon as we hit this button, we should see some spawns. There we go, some spawns. And now if we delete one of these guys, right, he should, oops, did I actually delete him? Nope. If we delete one of these guys, he just respawns. However, if we pause, so if we take a look back at our spawner here, it's paused again. So now if we delete both of those guys, they don't respawn. So as soon as I click the switch, they respawn. So the other thing we could do here, instead of that, is we could have a spawn camp destroy spawned things action, and that will destroy everything that spawn camp spawned. So it's named, we drag in our spawn camp. So as soon as we flip the switch, it's going to destroy both those guys. Oops, except for we need to also unpause them. Let's give a minimum interval of 1, a maximum of 2 on both of these. And give it a go there. So they should be spawned. Now if we click the switch, they go away. It should probably be a momentary switch for that effect, because if we do it again, they go away and then they respawn. Now the other thing we can do is we can do this same thing on a per spawner level. So even without the spawn camp, we can pause spawner, and I think we want to get rid of our spawn camp here. So let's just go back to what we had before. Get rid of our spawn camp. We're spawning an orc. So we can pause the spawner. So let's set this again. Revert on stop. Unpause it. Spawn behavior. Let's start it paused. We're gonna have to set this to named. Drag in our spawner here. Give that a try. Alright, so nothing. Click the button. We spawn the guy. See how it's unpaused. If we pause it again, it's paused. So if we delete the guy, he's not going to come back until we click the button, and it unpauses, which is not updating the UI, but that's what's happening. When you're in play mode, sometimes the UI doesn't update as fast as normal. So we can do that. There's also destroy the spawn things for that spawn camp, for that spawner, just like the spawn camp. Right, spawner destroy spawn things. Set that to named. Bring in our spawner. Set our spawner to not be paused. And let's do one more thing here. Let's set our switch behavior to momentary. Give that a try. Alright, so we've got a guy. Bye-bye. Came back. Bye-bye. Yep, we can just keep on doing that. You can also put triggers on the spawn camp itself, which work exactly like the triggers on the spawners, except for it'll turn off all the spawns or turn on all the spawners. The other thing we can show here is there is a spawn trigger that can be used. So this will fire whenever the spawner actually spawns something. And what we can do here is we can add a flip switch, and we can just toggle it. And so whenever the spawner spawns, it's going to toggle the switch. Oh, let's quickly set our switch back to being not momentary. All right. So it's kind of tricky here because of the way we have this set. So the switch is now off. If we turn the switch on, it's off right now, it's going to destroy this guy. The spawner is going to immediately spawn another one, and then it's going to turn the switch back off. So, watch. See? Spawn another one, the switch went back off because of the flip switch action. There's one more thing we can do here. Let's get rid of our triggered action here. We can actually trigger spawners or spawn camps. So there is a trigger, I know it's an action that's called trigger spawner and trigger spawn camp. So if we have a spawner behavior here set to not spawn immediately, minimum interval 100, 200, so let's set our little action here to target the spawner. So this means that when we press this button down, which let's put it back to momentary, when we press this button down, it's going to trigger the spawner to spawn something. So there should be nothing. The second we do this, it spawned a guy. We do it again, it's actually going to override the spawner settings even. It just instantly triggers another spawn. And you can do this for spawn camps too. When you do it for a spawn camp, it'll trigger a spawn on all the spawners. So we can have a whole crowd of orcs here running around. We just got the summon orc button. And that about wraps it up for spawners and spawn camps. In this video, you should have learned how to create a spawner and a spawn camp, how to spawn things with them, including enemies and items, and also how to interact with them through other actions and triggers, and set them up so that they can be paused and unpaused or triggered. I hope you found this video informative and useful. Let us know in the comments if there are other videos or tutorials you'd like to see. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media for the latest videos and other news. For more information on CAT or CAT RPG Builder and how they can help you build and prototype RPGs faster, please visit catgamebuilder.com. I'm Mike Handberger with Tricky Fast Studios. Thanks for watching.